She should know. I can go back and tell her that we're going to go forward.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Richard. Any other attorneys ready to move, ready to make announcements? Okay, I'm going to mute myself and do paperwork. Olga, let me know if there's anybody else that comes in.
Yes, sure. Judge, we can't hear you.
Mr. Kennedy, I need you to sit up in a chair because I suspect you're laying down in a bed. And if you can't do that, we're going to remove you from the courtroom. We're going to issue a warrant. I need you to get up off that bed, Mr. Kennedy, and go to a chair. Go to a chair, Mr. Kennedy.
If I can log off.
I'm sorry?
My lawyer, my state person said I can log off.
Kennedy, stand by. Let me see if that's accurate. You can log off. We'll see you September 18th, Mr. Kennedy.
¿Cómo podrá salir, no?
Marlon Mendoza, ¿ya se puede ir, señor?
Ok,
Háblele a su abogado.
ok.
Any other attorneys ready to make announcements?
Welcome back to Time Served, the channel that scans the docket so you don't have to. I'm Phil, and this week is starting off with a wild TPO out of Thurston that has to deal with neck braces, people getting hit by cars, the really bad profanity words, and that judge jaw dropping. Then we go back to Texas, where our favorite dynamic duo of Judges Boyd and Stevens are dealing with gang signs in the courtroom and pew-pews in the back. Not cool. Then we have quick clips in Judge Morgan and DeSanto. Who stole this lady's dog? She doesn't know. It's really sad. Then we go back to one of my personal favorites, Judge Washington, and this defendant has no idea who he is, where he's supposed to be, and completely confuses the court staff. You'll find out why. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, set your notifications to all, and never miss the daily docket. Court is now in session. Let's roll, nerds!
I solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything or threatened you to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to enter this plea?
Excuse, can you say that again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is this your own choice to enter this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand the maximum amount of jail time is 93 days in jail. You
Yes, Your
understand
Honor.
this? You also
Yes.
understand if I accept your plea, you're giving up your right to a trial and all the rights that go along with that. Some of the rights you'll be giving up are the right to call witnesses in your own defense, the right to cross-examine witnesses who are brought in against you, the right to testify or to remain silent without an inference being drawn from said silence. You'd also be giving up your right to the presumption of innocence and the requirement that your guilt would have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Knowing all this, do you still wish to enter this plea?
Yes, may I explain some things that had occurred that led up to this event? But yes, I do. Yes, I do. I plead guilty.
Okay, then let's do one thing at a time. To the charge of criminal contempt, failure to appear for June 6, 2023, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
All right. Now, do you have any comments or explanation as to why?
Yes, Your Honor. I was living with a friend of mine, and he had tried to start to do. He was just a friend, and he had started to give me sexual, sexual advances and things like that. So I ended up leaving, doing that. He threw all my things on the street, and I became homeless with my 6-year-old dog. And kind of everything just kind of got chaotic and out of control. And I was already scared. I was scared to come back because I'd already had rescheduled my court date one time. So with it being, with the crime, I just got scared. I really did get scared, and I just let it go too far, and it is my own fault, and I do take responsibility for it. I wrote you 3 letters. I've never sent one. I'm back on my feet now. I just started working last week for a tree service, and I have a place to live, but now my dog has gone missing. Somebody, I think somebody stole my dog. I was paying a couple to watch him while I was at work, and everything was going fine. The last day I came home from work on Friday, my dog was there, and then I had went to the grocery store. I come back, and now my dog's vanished, and nobody knows where my dog is. So the police are, we're trying to find my dog, and but any long story short, I am responsible for not showing up for court. And it is my responsibility. I should have reached out to somebody or something, but I was very scared with the charge because I've never been in trouble for something or anything like this before in my life. And that's it. I take responsibility for my actions.
Well, we had the bond hearing on June 2nd, and then June 6th, not only 4 days later, you were supposed to be in court and you didn't show up.
I know, my life was turned upside down. That's everything is just, it was chaotic. I had no place to sleep at night. With my 6-year-old dog, I mean, I take responsibility.
Okay, at this moment in time, we're gonna have a bond hearing.
I will do anything in the world.
Hold on,
If I can please just get another chance. I will do whatever. I don't care if I have to be on the tether. As long as I can work, I will do anything in the world. I just need to find my dog. It's really, you can ask the police department.
Hold on.
My dog are bad people.
Ma'am.
I am, sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna fine you $200. You need to report to probation as soon as you are released.
Okay.
You understand? How long will it take you to pay the $200?
But just give me 2 weeks, but probably only 1 week, but give me 2 so I can make sure, please.
Okay, I'm going to give you 30 days. Okay? Your next court date is August 28th. You're August 28th at 9 a.m. Make sure you're here. And again, you need to sign a payback agreement and you need to report to probation.
I will be there.
Right?
August 28th? August 28th, you said?
August 28th at 9 a.m.
And report to probation as soon as I'm released.
Correct.
Okay. And do you have, I know you're not a counsel, but do you have any advice, or you can't, I don't know, about my dog's situation?
I can't give any advice. You should have,
I'll call the police as soon as I get done with my probation.
okay, you do have a public defender, so you need to contact them, all right?
Okay.
All right.
And I have 30 days for my, you said for my,
You have 30 days for my $200, and you have to be in court on August 28th at 9 a.m.
I have that I wrote down, Your Honor.
Be asking consideration for a personal bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, how long have you lived at the home with your father?
7 years, Your Honor.
And you work?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you work for free?
I don't work for free, no.
Well, then why on this document that indicates the following to intentionally submit false information to a court, did you indicate monthly income 0?
Your Honor, I was not sure on that paperwork. I really haven't gone through anything like this.
I'm sorry, what?
I was a little bit confused.
Under monthly income, there's a series of questions that you're to answer. You bypass all those questions and just put 0 for total monthly income. What is confusing on those questions, sir?
Your Honor, my monthly income is $2,000.
Okay, well, I'm going to be giving this back to you for you to submit. You somehow knew how to fill out your approximate expenses, but nothing for your income. this court from June?
I do, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, have you had a court date on that matter yet?
I have, but I have to come back September 6th, I believe, for the,
Well, that just got moved up to August 29th. Cherry? Can you grab the other file, please, for Mr. O'Connell? He's up for September 6th. I mean, September 5th,
6th,
did
you're
you
up.
say?
No, 6th, the 6th.
6th?
September 6th, 10:30.
That's a Wyandotte case?
It is, yeah, for disorderly conduct.
Okay, so I think it should be the 5th. So, okay, in any event, can you try to find it, please, and bring it in here? Is one of the conditions of that bond not to possess and consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Change, alter, or amend this.
And
You need to file on it.
yes, for Brandon O'Connell, yes, please. And so do you live in Taylor or Ecorse? I'm just confused on the address.
It's e-course.
Okay.
And you want to enforce.
And you're also informed not, weren't you also instructed, and as a condition of your bond, not to get in any other trouble, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I was not involved in any incident that happened last night. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, Your Honor.
Well, perhaps, sir, you should make better choices with who you're hanging out with, because according to the police report, there was ample time for you to have gotten out of the car.
Yeah, Your Honor. Your Honor, I know I had all the time in the world to get out and to go home, and I definitely chose not to. But I didn't think I was gonna get arrested for something that I did not do and get accused of something that I did not do. I didn't get into any physical contact. I didn't put my hands on no one last night, Your Honor.
Sir, has anybody ever informed you that you know, guilt by association or you know, possible trouble with who you associate with or anything else, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you're indicating that you did not do anything wrong and that you were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong activity, you knew that there was some wrong activity going on. So then it was incumbent upon yourself, sir, to remove yourself from the situation that you are claiming you were not involved in.
Your Honor, I was not, and Your Honor, I know. I had all the time in the world to exclude myself from this situation. Well, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Do you know this individual, Mr. Raz?
I do not know.
Were you at a location where something occurred earlier in the night?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so
I was in the area.
So then, sir, I would like to think that you may have a little bit more intellect to know that perhaps something was going to occur based on some previous whatever that night. And so then you really have the opportunity to remove yourself from the situation. And it appears you chose not to do that. So as a result, the court is taking everything into consideration. You're already out on bond in this court. And now you're here for another case, 2 months later. Well, actually, the offense was 2 months ago, but I believe you may have only been in court about a month ago, right? A few weeks ago?
I'm not 100%, Your Honor. I think like 2 months ago. But Your Honor, on everything I love, I did not get into any fist fight or anything. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I had all the time in the world to exclude myself, and I chose not to, but I didn't think I was gonna get or put in cuffs, Your Honor, for something that I did not do, even though I was at the scene of a crime slash incident. I didn't think I was gonna get booked for something I did not do, Your Honor.
Sir, if you're in a test today, what's in your system?
No, there's nothing in my system. You guys know, Your Honor. You can check. No, there's nothing.
Okay.
Like I said, Your Honor, I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I can do anything to prove that I didn't do anything, which I did not, Your Honor. I didn't. Well,
Okay, here's what the court's going to do, sir. You're currently on bond in this court. And so just so you're aware, that other case will also be scheduled for for August 29th as well at 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m.
Okay, Your Honor.
Do you have any other pending cases, sir?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. The court's going to indicate a $5,000 10% bond, given the fact that you cannot possess or access any firearms and or any weapons. Do you have any of those?
So, Your Honor, as she comes up, I did speak with her. She appears to be competent. She had an old incompetent finding back in 2021. But in speaking with her, she appears to be okay. I'll let the court canvass if necessary, but she would like to plead no contest to the trespassing.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Nwokede.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Ms. Nwokede, you were charged with trespassing, and let me find the location for you. It looks like you were trespassed from St. Mary's.
Yes, ma'am. That's where I was.
And
at.
it looks like you walked off and west down to the Circus parking lot. One of those places had asked you not to return. Do you understand what trespassing is, Ms. Nwokede?
Yes, ma'am. I do understand, and that is correct. I was at the hospital. I was at St. Mary's Hospital when security came. I was going to get my walking chair to go back to the room where the doctor could come. Well, they must have got a misunderstanding and booted me out the back door. So where the statues are at St. Mary's Hospital, I walked around that way to go ahead to try to catch the bus. And then security came around there and put handcuffs on me. I was just in the grassy area, just walking to head to the bus stop. That's why I pled no contest with explanation. The reason I was right because of my medication. But,
okay, so let me ask you the questions that I have to ask you under the law, and we'll move through this, okay? Did you understand, first you understood that entering a plea of no contest, the court will find you guilty of the trespass. Did you understand that?
Well, just to my understanding, if I play no contest, it would be up to the judge, depending on the outcome.
And that's me. Yes, you're right. That's correct. Did you understand those constitutional rights that you were provided earlier?
Yes, sir, ma'am. I'm sorry. I remember the guy that came across the screen. I understand.
Okay. Yeah, and trespassing is a misdemeanor crime for which you could receive up to 6 months in jail and or a $1,000 fine. I'm not going to put you in jail for 6 months, but you need to know what the maximum penalty is. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, ma'am, I do understand.
All right.
Don't know, this is not my first rodeo.
Hold on, I know that. Let me ask you one more question.
Okay.
Have you served in the United States military?
Well, somewhat. I'm Capitol Police Officer. I'm one of the captains of the Chicago Police Department. In 2022, got my 23 years. I've never got a chance to celebrate, but yes, I guess you can say but this is
Okay, I'm looking for if you were in the Navy or the Army, that kind of stuff.
Well,
you weren't probably, right?
I completed the hiring process at age 23, and in year 2022, I completed 23 years. So basically, yes, being one of the captains, this tattooed on my shoulder.
So, Ms. Nawakati, I'm going to go ahead and accept your no contest plea as freely, voluntarily, and knowingly entered. You know that with when some place like St. Mary's has asked you to leave and not come back, that trespass will be in place for a period of time. You can't go back there unless you have a medical emergency. Do you understand?
Ma'am, I was there because of medical emergency. I was headed back to my room, but then, you know, I'm the one who needs security. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to hold up your time. You know.
All right. So, Mr. Nawakade, I don't think that this is that as serious as most things I see. I'm going to go ahead and sentence you to time served if there's no objection from the lawyers.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Nawakade, good luck.
Thank you, ma'am. Hurry up and run. I'm injured, man. Quit fucking hurry up and pushing me. That's what they've been doing all over the town.
Okay, well, watch your language and good luck. Cynthia Fontaine.
Okay, and then Mr. Eden, I see you there logged in. Okay. Get that order up. Okay, and Miss Pardee, you can go ahead and turn on your microphone.
Okay, Your Honor.
There we go. Okay, now I've got you both. Okay, can I have you both raise your right hand, please? And do each of you swear that the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Then, Ms. Pardee, in this case, you're the petitioner, and so you get to go ahead and present your side of it first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know you've read what's already there. Since then, there's been more incidents and I haven't had a chance to submit. The incident with where he came around the corner and ran the truck at us again, it broke my neck fusion. Dr. Minister came back out of country this weekend and I am already having surgery to redo everything tomorrow morning. That means I can't have Mr. Eden running his truck at us anymore. Or I came outside so you could see, as you read in there, him yelling about mental illness at me. He's now put up a sign on that fence behind me, and there are 10 cameras on that sign. And if you look this way, that's his illegal driveway. His other driveway is back down that way. I can't leave my home without passing because that's filled. There's no line of sight. The safest way to go is to the right. I stay to the right. Just this last Saturday, while trying to take my son to work in the morning, Mr. Eden came running out of his yard again, screaming at me in the road. I don't understand why he doesn't just stay away, but it's on the Saturday before when we were cleaning the yard, he was out there. He flips my 14 and 11-year-old off. They're little kids. This spot right behind me with that big sign that says mental health matters and a light on it all night long and a spotlight and 10 cameras, mind you, also looks at where they play basketball. I had to put this screen up because we were tired of his camera in my windows. So I don't get, Jonathan is going to be, he's catching the bus this year with all my surgeries now and now having to have all this redone. He's going to go to high school. This is where he has to catch high school. Would you want to catch high school with a grown man constantly giving you the finger or with this sign and everything else? For a person who doesn't want to, supposedly is afraid of me and whatnot, he sure does a lot of things that are antagonistic and to get my attention. I don't get why he doesn't just leave me alone or leave my children alone. That's all.
Right.
I mean, you've read that, and if needed, I can ask you for a continuance if you would like me to put that other stuff into an order. I think that I've given you enough to already say, hey, enough is enough. Please ask him to stop.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any questions for you at the moment. I may ask you some questions after I hear from Mr. Eden. I'm just not sure. But if there isn't anything else to add there, I'll just let Mr. Eden tell me his side of it.
Okay. You know, I just got served. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just got served Saturday. So, I mean, this is out of the blue. Had no idea any of this was coming. I'm not sure how I should move forward. I mean, I would like to get this over. We have already spent 7 months in the court system with Judge Wilcox that followed this to the end. She was so involved, she said. In the beginning, she put anti-harassment protection orders on both of us, temporary. She went through. It was so drawn out, and it was so costly to me. You know, I work every day. Shannon sits at home and harasses people and sues people. That's what she does. She's setting me up again, and this is just who she is, and everyone knows it. She lies. I have cameras. The reason I have so many cameras is to protect myself. She is well known with Thurston County. She's suing Thurston County. She's threatening to sue the sheriff's department. She says that I have all the TCOM calls, all the reports, everything, because she's helped me learn how to work the system to benefit myself now. This goes on and on. I mean, basically, Judge Wilcox knows this in and out. CPS is highly involved in this. The neighbors around us are working hard to help the kids get help because the mother has mental issues. She's been in and out of psych wards. She's just recently we had to call the police because the kids were outside at 6 a.m. and I was like, why are they outside? One was wrapped in a sleeping bag. And I haven't talked to the kids for some time since Shannon started coming after me. And I looked down there. I said, hey, are you guys, because the mom was yelling and yelling, and all the neighbors, if we need to subpoena the neighbors because I have the text messages from them, maybe we need to do that. They're like, do you hear what's going on? I'm like, oh yeah, how do you not hear it? I mean, it's Shannon yodeling again, yelling. So I asked the kids, I said, hey, you guys okay over there? And of course, you know, they're not going to talk to me because the mother has made them believe that I'm the monster next door, which I'm spent a ton of money trying to protect these kids. And I said, hey, there's help coming. We've notified the police department. So the police came out. Her husband always shows up anytime there's an incident. She doesn't allow her husband to live there. She locks him out of the gate. And he sleeps in his car a lot of the times out in the road. And the police have been there and they've questioned him. And he says she doesn't allow me to sleep in the house. And I mean, this just goes on and on. I mean, this woman has a problem with everyone, her children. Anyways, I don't want to get off the story. So I called the police. The other neighbors called the police. This is in the last couple of weeks. A few of the neighbors have called the police department on her. Her kid ends up trying to commit suicide and trying to slice his wrist. And she was telling the police officer, he's fine. Well, we request the police reports, the TCOMs and all that. Sometimes it takes some time to get it. But I mean, there's a lot going on over there. And we're just trying to protect ourselves. I got a business. She's told the court systems that I've tried to run them over and crush them. Anytime they have ever seen me on the road, supposedly I'm slurving my commercial truck at them and trying to kill them. Now she's saying that because of my truck, she injured her neck. So what this is going to happen, this is going to lead to a lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, when it came down to Judge Wilcox taking this all over, she came down to the end of it. And basically we're at the same spot we are last 7 months. She calls it malice. You know, there's not a lot we can do. We live next door to each other. I want nothing to do with her at all. I've never wanted anything to do with her. I just want to live my life. She continues recording me every morning. I fire my work truck up to go to work. People call me. They go, oh boy, she's recording you. She's recording you. I'm like, hey, I'll give her something to record. I played her. She goes on her porch and she does this weird, like people think she's putting a hex on me or something. And the police officers have all seen the video and they can't understand why they didn't grant me the anti-harassment order against her because it is so insane and they're just shocked. But I never got a chance to submit those videos because I don't need to ruin someone's life. She has enough problems as it is. I'm here to protect those children and so are the neighbors. And we're all in on this together. My problem was when I called CPS, I didn't remain anonymous. and everyone else did. So she assumes that I'm the only one that's been calling on her. So, I mean, like I said, Judge, we could tie these courts up all day. And what's going to happen is I'm going to try to request, whatever happens today, I'm going to try to request an anti-harassment order against her. I'm going to have to do declaration after declaration because she's going to send one, then I'm going to send one back, then she's going to send another one. It's just going to go. And then we're right back to where we were. And it's a way, I mean, I spent a lot of money on a lawyer trying to protect me last time for nothing. And it's really to protect her kids, Your Honor, on my life.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Eden. Okay.
Your Honor, could I call a witness, please?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Could I call a witness, please?
I got witnesses.
Who are you wanting? Hold on. Who are you wanting to call?
William Pardee, my husband.
Now, I told you at the beginning that I'd hear your side and then I'd hear his side and make a decision. And so I thought we understood what the procedure was here.
Oh.
Bill, please don't. He said no. It's just.
All right, what, tell me, just give me a preview of what this testimony would be.
It would bring context as to the harassment, Your Honor. Mr. Eden's making this statement that there's CPS involved and whatnot, and that's not true. There's nothing with CPS. There's no reason, he has no children or child rearing experience. There's no reason for him to look out for my children. And so Bill can testify to that.
Well, any CPS involvement in anything is completely collateral to what's being decided here. It's not relevant.
It goes to he can also be witnesses to the continued harassment of our children. At the end of the day, this is the kids. See the sign? Mr. Eden is saying he's afraid of me and I'm harassing him. I do not have any signs up. I've put dark covered things over my windows. He put 10 cameras on one fence and a sign about mental illness. And that's what he screamed at me the other day in the truck.
Okay,
I don't even record him when I keep tabs on the noise.
Part. Is there anything else that Mr. Pardee is going to offer besides what you've just told me?
You would have to ask him, Your Honor. He does, I'm sure. As I said, I have my ortho can tell you the neck fusion is broken and they know the date that it happened and what happened. And I have surgery tomorrow. So yeah, Bill has another side as far as the children go. I believe he wants to talk for the children.
All right, Mr. Pardee, I didn't swear you in before, so I'm going to swear you in now. Raise your right hand, please. And do you swear the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, in the petition, you can see I helped Ms. Pardee draft it. It wasn't the best petition in the world, but I put down what I thought was relevant. Obviously, you know, Judge Kayla Wilcox removed me as counsel for my wife. That's fine in the previous proceedings. Previous proceedings are the previous proceedings. And she kind of left it at the parties should get along. We were going to go along on that path. Now, there might be civil lawsuits in the future regarding land use matters. That's fine. But when I was on July 25th, I'm with my son, Matthew, in Hagen's grocery store. Somebody yells out, Bill. I turn around. I'm in a checkout line, checking out an Xbox gift certificate card for my son, my 11-year-old son. He turns around. I turn around, and Mr. Eden's holding up his middle finger with his hat on, and he has a cart full of alcohol. His girlfriend's hiding behind him, and he yells out, "Fuck you," with his middle finger up. And then on August 3rd, I dropped my kids off. We're trying to live our life. I dropped my kids off. I'm going to the Valley Athletic Club with them. I drop them off. I hear Fag from above on the yard where he sits there in his boat and harasses my children. For him to say that he has concerns about my children and he has their well-being at issue, he is continually harassing my children now, regardless of my wife. He's harassing my children now on a regular basis. My son's going to have to catch the bus there right in front of Mr. Eden's residence. For this piece of shit, basically, that's sitting in front of you, to say that he has concerns about my kid is unbelievable. I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney, Your Honor. I'm an attorney, bar number 31644. For him to sit there with his dishonest comments, he didn't even refute the comments that are in the petition. He doesn't even rebut them. He makes up stuff about allegations that I'm sleeping in my car. What does that have to do with the allegations that are in the petition? Nothing. The burden today is preponderance of the evidence. And I think we've more than clearly shown preponderance of the evidence. There's 6 instances in the petition that he hasn't even rebutted. For him to sit here and say he has my kids' best interests in mind, I guess his idea of best interests of the children is to basically flip them off and tell them fuck you on a regular basis. If that's where we're at in the law, then so be it. I'm done with my testimony. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Well, you can tell what I'm dealing with.
All right. A lot of what the parties are offering here is it's just not part of my consideration about the central issue, which is the basis for issuing an unlawful harassment order. Now, I am familiar with the background between the parties because of the prior filings that have been in this court. I know primarily those were heard by Judge Wilcox, but they're also still, on file with the court, and I have some familiarity with the background that both parties have referred to. And obviously, I didn't hear these cases previously. Judge Wilcox did, but the information is still on file with the court, and I've reviewed a fair amount of it. Okay, I don't know.
Any chance I can say something else?
Well, I think I've heard from you, Mr. Eden.
I got a witness here too, sitting right next to me, and Bill's completely lying about a cart full of beer. I mean, we have the receipt.
Like I said, a lot of what I heard here is not really relevant to the decision that I need to make. Okay. An anti-harassment order proceeding is not a proceeding where the court passes judgment on the lifestyle of parties, right? Whether people drink beer or, these things are not what's important. The law is not designed for that. The law is as it relates to unlawful harassment, covers a willful course of conduct by one party toward another, which is detrimental to that party, which seriously impacts their emotional well-being, and that is reasonable. In other words, that a reasonable person would suffer that harm to their well-being and serves no legitimate purpose. And on top of that are other considerations. The law is not designed to penalize people who are overbearing, rude, and obnoxious. All right. So people who use bad language or make questionable remarks about other people's lifestyle, that just isn't the kind of thing that this is designed to address. And I think both of you know, I hope Judge Wilcox told you, I'm sure she did, that whatever underlying conflict you have about how property is used, or how Mr. Eden drives his truck or parks his truck, or how fast he drives on the driveway or easement, none of that can be resolved by this court. And if that's at the heart of your dispute, you're going to have to address that dispute to another court that has jurisdiction to hear it. And I'm going to suggest to you that until you do, you probably will not have peace in your lives. If this is a bone of contention about how Mr. Eden drives on that property, you're going to have to get the use of any easement or common drive or area resolved by a court that has jurisdiction over that. This court can't do that. Now, looking at the evidence that's been presented here today, a lot of this is, I think, speculative at best. I have a difficult time really believing, or at least I'm sure that you believe it, Ms. Pardee, but I'm not willing to accept at face value this allegation that you're going to have surgery because of something Mr. Eden did.
Your Honor, it's scheduled for tomorrow morning, and yes, it is. And it's unfair.
I heard that.
Ms. Pardee, and all I'm asking for is protection for the children.
Mute her microphone, please. Okay, I explained how the proceedings work, and when I'm announcing and explaining my decision is not the time to start interrupting and arguing. That's inappropriate courtroom behavior. I don't find by preponderance of the evidence that harassment has occurred. I am not going to make any findings about Mr. Eden's language or lifestyle or anything about his motivations with regard to you. I can tell that the parties don't like each other. It's completely obvious that you don't like each other and that you have a conflict that's personal in nature. But that isn't going to be resolved or addressed by the court. Actions and behavior that constitute harassment will be. And I do not find from the record that's been presented in this case that there is unlawful harassment occurring. Now, that is the ruling for today, because that is the evidence before the court today. And that will conclude the matter for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Proceeding on in count 1, paragraph A, waiving paragraph.
Any objection?
None.
Mr. Farris, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, no.
Do you understand you're charged with burglary of a habitation force? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, no.
If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He's been able to assist me in his defense, yes, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Farris, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, state is proceeding on count 1, paragraph A. Punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. The state recommends community supervision. They will take into consideration 2022 CR 8418. There's to be restitution of $500 to Stephanie Guerrero. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Judge.
State.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not been, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 10 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours of community service restitution, and no contact with Stephanie Guerrero. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense in count 1, paragraph A, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? All right, off the record for a moment. Deputy Laura, is he able to move to the other end?
Yes.
Okay. We're back on the record. State, do you have any evidence to support the plea?
At this time, the state introduces State's Exhibit 1 and all of its attachments. No objections.
Mr. Farris, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Who would you be living with?
My wife.
I'm sorry?
With my wife.
All right. Are there any issues?
Not in our communications today, no, ma'am.
All right. Does your wife want you living with her?
Of course, she had to be.
Well, I mean, just because a female may have someone's child, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want them living with them.
I would like to help her.
Well, I mean, again, people can help with children without living with someone. So here's the thing. If you end up seeing your wife and she doesn't want you staying with her, then you can't stay with her.
Okay.
All right. And are you all legally married? Did you go to the courthouse or did you have a ceremony?
When's the courthouse?
Okay.
Did $150 for it.
All right. How many children do you have?
2. She just had them.
Ages?
1 and just had it. The other one, 2 boys.
Okay. What are their dates of birth?
What is their birth?
Mm-hmm.
She had one around probably December. The other one she was at
But no. You're giving me a month, but what is the child's date of birth? If the child, if the child is expecting a birthday gift from you and they want it on their birthday, when would they get it?
See that February, February 3rd? Yeah, somebody's on the 3rd.
All right, so you're saying February 3rd.
7 months apart.
So that's one. So what's the date of birth of the other child? You're gonna have to do better. You understand?
I'll try. I'll try.
All right. That's a tattoo you can get on your arm instead of what you have.
I was gonna get two tattoos.
With their dates of birth?
Yes, my word.
All right, and what is that other tattoo about?
I don't know. They gave it to me.
Who is they?
Some friends of mine. I don't know. I don't know who it is. It's probably my I don't know.
I mean, when did you receive that tattoo?
A long time ago.
Okay. So why were you in this apartment?
I was helping my friend move, doing a good deed. I just moved out of his couch and that was it. And she said I took something. I didn't take nothing. All I did was help us move the couch. That was it, man.
All right. Do you want a jury trial?
I just helped the guy out moving. I was the guy.
No. Here's my question. Do you want a jury trial or you want to go forward with this plea agreement?
I just want to get out.
No, I mean, do you want to have a jury trial or do you want to go forward with this plea? Because if you want a jury trial, then we will give you a jury trial, quick, fast, in a hurry. It won't be today.
I know that. But with for this plea, I'll get quick and hurry out.
I'm sorry, what?
That plea, I'll get quick and hurry out.
Here's the thing. When people think about doing plea agreements and their goal is, I want to get out, there are consequences to all of these cases for entering into pleas. So with this one, it's a criminal conviction and you're not going to be allowed to have any weapons or ammunition because it's a criminal conviction.
Sometimes
these pleas affect your ability or impact your ability to obtain an education and receive financial aid. Sometimes it impacts your ability to have certain forms of employment that requires licensing. It affects and impacts your ability to register to vote because you're a convicted felon. You won't be able to register to vote until you are no longer on paper. So if you want to go forward with the plea, the court will place you on probation. If you wish to have a jury trial, then the court will set this for a jury trial. So do you wish to go forward with this plea?
I want the plea. I want to get out. I mean, I just would be nutshell for now. He supposed to be my friend. I didn't even enter the house.
Well, let me just tell you what I read in the couch out. Let me just tell you what I read in the police report. It mentions your good deed, but if you're doing a good deed, you don't accept payment for it. So this is what's in the police report. It says, Victim 1 and victim 2 were in the process of moving out of their apartment. Victim 2 asked you, which is described as AP, which stands for arrested person, to help with the move, and he would pay him some money. Arrested person stole victim 2's bicycle and left the location. While victim 1 and victim 2 were out dropping off belongings, the arrested person returned and entered the apartment without victim 1 and victim 2's consent. Arrested person took victim's property out of the apartment and left the location. Arrested person returned for more property and was caught by victim 2. Victim 2 detained arrested person until police arrived. So I will place you on probation. It's completely up to you. But if you want to go to a jury trial, we will give you a jury trial as well. So this is going to be my last time asking you. Do you want me to go forward with placing you on probation? That's a yes or no.
Probation.
All right. Then this is what the court will do. The court will sentence you to 10 years in prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's $1,000 fine that'll be probated. Take into consideration 2022 CR 8418. There's to be $500 restitution and no contact with Stephanie Guerrero. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting in person or by Zoom. Regular UAs. No unsupervised contact with minors. Field visits 1 time per month. Probation, please check on the children. 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Parenting classes with triple P, the remaining of the hours will be waived once you complete parenting classes. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful on this probation, Mr. Farris?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, counsel, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
No.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Farris, you need to learn the birth dates of your children. You only have 2. Some people come here, they have 10. And you need to be a better father than them because they're expecting you to be in their life. All right? Okay, good luck to you. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming in to testify. All right, defense.
Judge, I don't have any additional witnesses. Mr. Reyes would like to address the court, but before that, I'd like to address the court if I could.
Yes.
Okay, and then Mr. Eden, I see you there logged in.
You know, obviously, a bit of a large ask from the court. You've got a very young man with no criminal history that kind of comes off the blocks with some really big cases. And I'm not making any excuses. Julian has owned up to what he did. He did what you read in the PSI there. He set these things up. He had a weapon. We're not in any way trying to minimize that, but you know, Julian is a 20-year-old kid who does have a bad drug problem. He really does. He's never been in denial about that. And it's gotten the better of him. And like I tell all my clients, either you control it or it controls you. And clearly these drugs, I'm not saying they made him go out and do that, but what I am saying is they certainly affected things that he was doing and the way he was thinking. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, this kid is so remorseful about what he did and of course the situation he is. He does have his own dependent. He has a lot of stuff inside him, Judge, that you're going to hear about that really needs to get addressed. He needs more than drug counseling. He needs some real serious psychological issues. I think he probably has undiagnosed PTSD from a couple different things. Never made it to high school. I just feel like if you put him in prison, you're just going to, you know, lack of a better way of saying it, throwing a kid away. I really believe it. A kid that wants help, a kid that needs help, and I think a kid that really could benefit from help. And so I understand there are victims. I understand how serious this is, but you know, he's 20 years old and he's crying for help, and I hope you give it to him. His father was murdered. He wasn't there for that, but his father was murdered in Mexico, and that had a deep impact on him when we talked about it. When he was 14, he witnessed a family member get murdered as well, and I know that had a deep impact on him. He's carrying around some large, heavy bags that he doesn't know what to do with, and then I think they let him down the path to drugs and the path to this violence. I believe his family when they say this is so far from the Julian they know, guns and violence. He truly is a really just kind
But
of.
didn't they address his issues in 2016? Because he was on probation in 2016 for retaliation. Then he had marijuana probation in 2017.
I don't know what they addressed back then, Judge. I didn't represent him. Probably not. I'm not sure if Julian was ready to be as forthcoming as he is about the issues that he has. So, and I understand that's part of his makeup. But on that issue, Judge, I just, as big as an ask as it is, I really think that deferred would be much better for him than the prison. The prison is not going anywhere. If he doesn't make it, well, you can hammer him. But today I'm asking you to give him the help that he's asking for and that he really needs. And I want him to talk to you as well, Judge, so I don't want to swear him in.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. You need to keep your voice up. If you'll state your name for the record.
Julian Reyes.
All right, defense?
Do you want him over here, Judge?
He can stand there.
Okay. So Julian, I don't really have any specific questions for you, but I want you to tell the judge why you think you deserve deferred.
I just want to let you know, I'm like, if whatever happens, if you do end up sending me to prison, I just feel like that's not gonna make me no better. But if I'm not saying for you not to do that, but I feel like I do need a chance because I never had no guidance in my life, and I do have a baby boy out there. And I just want to be there for him. I know what I did was wrong, and I do take full responsibility on what I did. Because I know nobody shouldn't have, do that but like, and I do take those drugs, those pills, that I do have a problem like on those pills. And by like seeing my brother die, like really that made me go like more into deep in it. But when I'm on those pills, I'm not the person who I am, like how I am right now. But I feel like I do need a chance, and as I've been here for 5 months, I've been talking to God, and like I just feel like I got to do right, and I know I can.
You have a drug problem?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking for help?
Yeah, I'm asking for help.
That's all the questions I have, and just. Julian is not the most articulate
Just
person.
1 second. State has questions.
Mr. Reyes, you said you've never sort of had a chance here, but you were arrested in 2014. Do you recall being arrested for theft?
For theft?
Yes, sir. The case was reviewed and closed. Do you remember that?
At school?
Okay. Yeah. And then also 2015 for criminal mischief. The case was rejected, but you were arrested for that. Remember that?
What's criminal mischief?
Meaning that you damaged something.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. All right, so I'm gonna need you to speak up, okay? Pretend like it's okay if you speak like you're outside. I always tell people, the person who's the farthest person in the audience, talk loud enough so they can hear. All right.
Criminal mischief, the question was from Mr. Reyes was, what was criminal mischief? It means that you damaged something that wasn't yours. Do you recall that back in 2015?
I don't remember.
Okay. Then you also were placed on probation for retaliation back in 2016. Do you recall that?
I don't know what the retaliation for. I remember saying something at school.
Okay, but you were on for 6 months probation, it states. You remember being on probation for 6 months? Okay, so you had a chance then to correct your ways, right?
I did.
Okay, and you did not. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then also you got picked up in 2017 for possession of marijuana, and you also had 9 months probation back in 2018. You do recall that, right?
So,
and at that time you had a chance to address your drug problems and you chose not to. Is that right?
I did, but that was before my brother had passed away.
Okay. So you're stating that you committed these 2 ag robberies because your brother passed away?
No, I'm not stating that. I'm stating because I had started doing pills a whole lot.
Okay, but you do remember committing these 2, these 2 ag robberies happened. One happened in January of 2021. The other one happened in September of 2022. You committed 2 different ag robberies with a gun, right?
So,
okay. No further question, John.
All right. So I have a question. What is the sign language?
I'm not sure. He's asking you with your hand, or what is that?
it's just something me and my brothers just,
Yeah, but what does it mean?
like brother love.
That's not according to American Sign Language.
That's how we do it.
That's not West Side.
No, that's not West Side.
Okay. All righty. Well, brotherly love with the W.
That, Judge, that just from the state's point of view, that does look like more of a Playboy bunny rather than.
So that's what I'm seeing in the photo.
I
But I will take your word for what that means. So here's my question for you. And this is just straight from the police report, and I'm trying to figure out where your thought processes were. In the report, it says that you pulled a gun out. Let me go to the exact thing it says. It says the victim stated he saw the suspect pull out a handgun from the suspect's waistband, pull the gun, slide back, and pointed the gun at the victim. Suspect then said, "Give me the phone, drop it on the floor, don't try anything or I'll bust a cap." The victim stated, "Don't do this." So my question is, what were you thinking when you were pulling the slide back?
I wasn't thinking at all, Your Honor.
Well, I mean, there had to be some thought process because this person was trying to sell this phone online and he set up a sale on an app on OfferUp. So somebody had to say, yes, I want to buy this item you're selling. Then there had to be a place to arrange to meet. Am I right?
Sure.
So did you go on OfferUp, see it, and make an arrangement to go meet?
Yeah, but
So here's my question. When you were on OfferUp, did you scroll through different items and say, this looks like a good item? How did that happen?
I was just under the influence and just doing something that I shouldn't have been doing.
Well, no, I mean, I know you're saying you're under the influence, but I'm wondering what your thought process are. Because if you're under the influence, you have to say, I'm going to go and OfferUp. I'm going to look for somebody who's selling something, somebody who looks like I can rob them. So then after you go and OfferUp and you say, yes, I will pay that price, let's meet at this location. You all meet at the location. So then once you meet the person at the location, you have to find them and say, this is the guy, this is the person, this is what they said they will be wearing. You had to say, I'm taking a gun with me. And then when the person presented the cell phone for you to see, you had to have said, okay, I'm pulling out my gun because I want the cell phone. That's a lot of thought process that goes in for somebody who's high. So I'm just trying to figure out, what were you thinking during each stage of this robbery?
I wasn't thinking on it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from either side?
Not from the state.
I don't have any additional questions.
All right. So the court will hear argument. State, you're opposed?
Yes, Your Honor. State's position is that the defendant has had previous chances to correct his ways. And when he was on bond or on this ag robbery that he currently pled to, there is another ag robbery that we're taking into consideration that he committed while he was on house arrest and committed at his own house.
Counsel.
So the fact is, Your Honor, the state's position is that the defendant has had a chance on even some type of supervision. So the state's position is that the 15 years TDC would be appropriate in this case.
All right. Defense?
Judge, you know, every day as a sitting district judge, you have opportunities to quite literally change people's lives. And, you know, today you have that chance right now. I'm never a fan of throwing anybody as young as him away to the prison system, where I truly believe that he's asking for and can be helped by the things that are available through this court to help him. And so I just, understanding the serious nature of the case, you can change his life in a good way. And in 10 years, he can talk about the judge that really saved his life. His intentions are sincere. I believe that he's not a violent person despite the horribly violent things that he did. And that he really, truly wants to change his life. A lot of people will come and tell you that. This kid means it. And the only way that's going to happen is if you allow it. So I hope that you do that and that you don't throw his life away.
All right. So, Mr. Reyes?
Yes,
I will tell you, I look at each case on a case-by-case basis. And sometimes, well, I would say really all of the time, when someone is sentenced, part of it, if they receive probation, even if they receive probation, part of it is punishment, because it's the punishment of probation. Or if they go to prison, it's the punishment of prison. And then it's also about rehabilitation. And sometimes rehabilitation has to occur at the prison. I'm going to deny your applications. I'm going to find you guilty. I can ask that you be referred to the therapeutic community. I can't force them to place you in a therapeutic community, but you can apply for it and see if they will accept you. I'm going to sentence you to 14 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Take in consideration 2022 CR 11026. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money run concurrent, and there's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. Showing you trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Mr. Reyes, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. We can go off the record. Mr. Reyes, I take no pleasure in sending people to prison. One of the hard parts of this job is I don't have a crystal ball to tell me how people are going to do. And I know that you're young, and I know that you're probably thinking it's the end of your world because it's 14 years prison. But in actuality, at some point in time, you're going to get out of prison. What you need to do when you go to prison, once you internalize that you're in prison, once you say, that judge, I hate that judge, or whatever, I can take it. You need to see about getting your education while you're at the prison. I've been a defense attorney. I've had clients who've gone to prison before. I even had a client who was younger than you, who was found guilty of murder and got sentenced to 40 years in prison. And let me just tell you, when he was sentenced to 40 years in prison, that broke my heart inside because he was very young. And my thought process was, oh my gosh, why did they do this to him? Because he can do so much with his life. He had a hard upbringing. His mom's not there for him. She's more there for her boyfriend. She didn't take care of him. He's trying to take care of his sisters. And you know who helped me get through that? My mom. I called her and my mom is like, Stephanie, your client was found guilty of killing somebody. That person that they killed, they're not going to have any life. Your client still will have a life when he gets out. So you still will have a life when you get out. And whether or not you were on probation or going to the prison, this time is going to pass. It's what you do with the time that's passing that's going to help you. You can go to the prison, get your college degree for free. You can go to prison, get drug treatment for free. You understand? And when you come out of prison, you need not be around the people you were previously around. So you still can change your life, still can do good things. Good luck to you.
Second-degree felony of aggravated assault. Pre-sentence report has been prepared. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? Are there any corrections or changes to it? First of all, defense?
Nothing from the defense.
And state?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Then it is made a part of the record for all purposes. So this is accurate. He has no criminal history?
That is correct.
Okay. The agreement is a cap of 6 years in prison. So you were looking at no less than 2 nor more than 6 years confinement in prison. If we follow imprisonment, you can be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation for up to 2 to 10 years. I believe regular probation is not an option for this court. I think those are our options, those two. Go ahead, Mr. Wilkerson. You may go first.
And may I please, with all respect, Your Honor, I believe that the decision of the court today in this case is not simple because of the fact that my client has no criminal history. Despite the very serious nature of the offense, if my client is fortunate and the victim is fortunate and that the victim was able to make a recovery. My client is 25 years old. He was a high school dropout. And as the pre-sentence investigation reads, appears to have some literacy issues. Your Honor, this court has an opportunity here to take this young man, this 25-year-old young man, and set him on the right path, requiring to get his GED, requiring to take literacy courses, requiring him to be monitored. He would have, obviously, during deferred adjudication, no access to firearms. I believe this court can fashion a probation order that would benefit justice, society, and my client all at the same time. He has worked for the city of Beaumont in the past. He was worked for the drainage district, Your Honor. That's the last employment that he had prior to being arrested, if I'm correct.
How long has he been in jail, please?
He's been in jail for 379 days.
Okay, a year.
Yes. Or approximately 379. That was the count that I was able to get. And so he has essentially been stagnant for that year, waiting on his day to stand before you and take responsibility for his actions. He's done so. He's remorseful. And Your Honor, he's throwing himself at your mercy and asking for another opportunity to be a productive member of society.
All right, State.
Judge, he shot somebody. He was aiming at one person, hit somebody who wasn't even involved in the altercation, and could have killed him. I took in the fact that he has no criminal history into the cap by limiting his exposure, but you just don't shoot somebody and then walk out and walk away from the courtroom with the probation saying, we'll help you get your life in order. He could have killed somebody and could have killed other people just by his being a bad shot, shooting at somebody and hitting somebody else. So we would ask the court to give him to 6 years in prison.
What would you like to say, if anything, sir?
I like to probation.
Why? Do you,
I know
why do you deserve that?
I know I got in my life around. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Somebody brought me there, so
Let me ask you. The victim in this case was shot. Where was the bullet wound?
Bullet came in the back and came out the front hip.
Wait. You shot somebody in the back? In the back?
it was darkness, man.
Yeah, you just shoot in the dark? Come on. This guy got shot in the back, which meant he really was either fleeing or wasn't even looking at you.
It was actually shooting at someone else. That guy jumped out of the way and this hit the other person in the back. Wasn't even involved in the altercation.
Okay, well. You don't get credit for being a bad shot. Doesn't get you any points. That's terrible. What was all this about?
I don't know. Somebody brought me there.
Wait. You don't know what this was all about. You just go around shooting at people in the back for no reason. This doesn't make you need to,
It was two people started fighting.
You?
No, not at first. At first, two people started fighting, so I was trying to break them up. The dude swung at me, and happily he was a twin. So me and him ended up tussling. He pushed me on the ground. So that's when I ended up making my way up. I ended up getting up. So I ended up running back. It was like I seen there's two more people running down the stairs, and everything occurred.
Why'd you tell him why you fired?
So I thought, because they were running at me, so I took it out my holster. I tried to do one shot, but I tried it one time for one shot. And I didn't know I hit him in the back. I feel myself about to get jumped on by 3 people. I was trying to do one shot, so I can get out the way. And all I know is I ended up getting arrested a couple months later.
Serve himself and society. Then he can be.
I can't even tell you what the apartment was there, because I wasn't really paying attention. I was on my phone.
Okay, so I'm looking for this, what I had read earlier, and according to the witnesses. Batiste was on the ground fighting with apparently you, according to the witnesses. Then one of the witnesses ran over, broke up the fight between you and the other man. Then you started to walk away toward the parking lot. Then he says you turned and then fired a shot. So the fight had ended and everybody was dispersing, and then you shoot the gun. Now, after you shot him in the back, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? I want to see. You left. Yeah. For everybody else to clean up the mess that you had made by shooting somebody. Well, I guess you're lucky that we're not here on a murder case, huh? Go ahead. You were going to say something.
I was only going to say, I believe my client would dispute slightly that version of events. Obviously, people have a tendency to protect their own, but he does admit to taking the shot and doing so wrongfully. And I understand that doesn't change the fact that this terrible thing happened. Nothing will change that.
No, but we can put the pieces together, and I mean, he had the power. He had a weapon and he shot somebody in the back, and then he left. But he says he's not guilty, or it's not really, he's not blameworthy. He should have, I mean, when you shoot somebody, you have a duty to help them. You left. You left. They had to, I mean, you didn't ever come back. You didn't call the police. You left. And the police went to find you.
No, I'll talk to the detective.
Yeah, I know you talked, you didn't call the detective, they called you. You want me to read that? Yeah.
They would be on page 1.
I obtained a Texas DL photo of David Lee Moore. I contacted Moore and spoke with him about coming to the station to tell his side of the incident. They called you. Don't tell me you did. And it's just, you should have hung around. If you had nothing to worry about. Guilty men flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous stand bold as a lion. You ever heard of that? It's in the Bible. Oh, but I guess could have been a lot worse. But once again, it just, what we have too often in this case where people shoot at each other for really reasons that don't rise to the need for self-defense. It's just ego is bruised. All right, earlier here in this hearing, you had pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understand the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1, admitted in your plea hearing, to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this second-degree felony of aggravated assault. I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. The judgment shall reflect that a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, was used in the commission of this offense. Once again, misuse of a firearm in the shooting, it just happens too often. But like many other cases, this is nonsensical. And here you don't ever shoot somebody, but when you shoot them in the back,
Then nobody actually got shots.
that's your problem. You're just shooting into a crowd.
No, it wasn't just.
You just shoot into the crowd and somebody got shot. Thank God there wasn't a little kid there in the group. Thank God. Well, you know, you wouldn't have cared. You just shot into a group of people.
I would care.
No. You either shot at somebody or you just shoot.
Somebody told me.
And then the bullet found its way into somebody's back. That's just, you can't explain that away, sir. That was misuse. That was terrible, irresponsible use of a firearm, and it was a bad choice that you made, and you paid for it. That is. Troy Clayton is next, Mr. Burbank. Yes, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Troy Clayton. We have a bond hearing.
You have a bond here.
Or do you have a case number, sir? You don't appear on our docket today, apparently.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it directed me to unmute.
You have a case number, sir? You don't appear on our docket.
Yes, I do have a case number. 1 second. It is 235-00269.
It sounds like that's a 15th District Court case. So you're in the wrong court.
Yeah, I don't know how. This is the link that you guys sent me for the 14B court. And
This is 14B. 1 second.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's what he says. You said 235-00269?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McDuffie isn't finding it either. We're gonna keep looking to see what we can come up
Yes.
with.
I can't afford to get in trouble. Please keep
That
finding.
format is not even a 15th district case either, because it should be 2 digits in a dash. So, Mr. Parker, what can I ask what he's looking at that has that information on it to report to court today?
My name is My name is Sean Addles, and
Oh, well, there's the problem. So you came in with your name labeled as Antonio Parker.
I don't see how.
Well, we're looking right at it on the screen here.
I was on Zoom since 8:50 this morning. And
Mr. Sir,
Mhm.
your name on the screen says Antonio Parker. So first of all, let's start with that.
Okay.
And if we don't know your name, we obviously can't call you.
Right. Yeah. I was confused too when I was like, when I seen that you was the judge and everything like that. And I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong room. So I just waited.
Sir, one moment. What is your first name?
Sean, Shaun, last name Addles, AT. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Adams' name is in JIS spelled differently. That's the first problem. So his name is in the system as SEAN, and his case number is 23F55587. So that's a felony matter. And he currently I'm sorry, go ahead, Ron.
No, that was me, Ms. McDuffie. I'm sorry. He does have a case today, 23S00269. Sean Michael Addles, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's me.
You said Addles, not Adams.
ATTLES.
Yes, that's me.
Okay, that's a different person too.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll call your case in 1 second, sir. You are supposed to be on here today.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to the Javin Whitlow matter, case number 23S00341.
Rachel McDuffie for the people.
Assistant Public Defender, Chinazi Kiriakin, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Javin Whitlow. Mr. Whitlow, could you state your name again for the record?
That was case number 23S00269.
Rachel McDuffie for the people.
Assistant Public Defender Chinazi Carey, I can rule Your Honor on behalf of Mr. Sean Addles. Mr. Addles, could you unmute and state your name for the record, please?
Sean Adams.
Thank you. We're hearing this matter for a pretrial.
That is correct, Your Honor. We have Mr. Addles, we're still doing the adjournment today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Your Honor, we are requesting an adjournment. We've been able to review the offer from the people as well as the report with Mr. Addles, but he is asking for a little bit of time to determine which way he'd like to proceed.
The September the 11th work. Okay, go ahead, Ms. McDuffie.
Did I extend an offer, Ms. McCary? I think this was our first pretrial. I don't think we discussed this one yet. Not saying that there won't be, but I just want to see what.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We talked to him about potentially reaching out for an offer. I do apologize, Your Honor.
Okay, no problem. No objection to the adjournment.
September 11th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Bond is continued.
That's
We'll see
11,
you.
Judge.
We'll see you on the 11th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Make sure your name says your name and not someone else's name, because we can't find someone else's name who's not on our docket. So do you know how to do that?
All I did was click on the link that was in my messages this morning. And I don't know how that happened. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know. Sorry, I apologize. I don't know.
Mr. Adams. Did you let Antonio Parker borrow your phone, sir?
No, I don't know Antonio Parker.
That's weird.
Yes.
Okay, well, your phone shows Antonio Parker's name on the screen there. It doesn't anymore because we changed it, but you have to change it in your Zoom environment so it doesn't show. In case you have to go to a different court, you should probably figure out how to change that, because you
Yes,
will
ma'am.
just be sitting there waiting. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.